How to make a living while living out of your van. Well, guys, this is the question of all questions. And I've seen so many people on social media that ask this question over and over and over and over and over. One thing that I have to ask you is, how do you plan on surviving living out of a van? Do the same thing you do now. Who says you have to quit working? If you're lucky enough to be on Social Security or have some kind of a retirement income or something like that, well, God bless you. You don't have to work. You can go and just explore the world and enjoy your life as it is. And be a lot cheaper for you than spending thousands of dollars a month to sustain a house that you do nothing but fall in depression in. And wonder why your life has just turned into nothing but mush. So I encourage you, definitely the ones that do that, to get out and actually live life again, because there's no reason that you can't. But for the younger crowd, especially like the millenniums, let's say, the X generations or whatever, the ones that, how do you do it? Well, my advice is to be creative. Learn the art of being creative. Today's world and age, there's so much opportunities and different ways to promote yourself that'll actually blow your mind. Just take one for instance. Let's talk about Craigslist. Craigslist is all over the United States. It may even be all over the world. I'm not sure, but never heard of it, but I'm sure it is. Sure, a few of my subscribers out there or people watching this video can say or confirm if they're in different countries or not. But I know they're here in the United States. And all you got to do is find the zip code in the town that you live in and look it up when you get there, to look it up on Craigslist, and you'll find everything that's going on in that little town. Look through all the creative work, the jobs that are available. Look at all the advertising there. Let's say you want to be a security guard. To give someone personal security. Fine. Find somewhere that will hire you as a security guard at night. Maybe like a car lot or something like that. Give them a really reduced rate. Just tell them you'll just hang out there just to protect their property or do whatever, and just for the place to park your van. There you go. You killed two birds with one stone. If you are a handyman, advertise for handyman work. If you're a house cleaner, advertise for cleaning people's houses. There's all kinds of different things. If you're a photographer, find people who want you to take pictures of them, whatever. There's just so many different ways to be creative on Craigslist, it'll blow your mind. That alone should help you get all the work that you possibly ever need, or want, or desire. Remember, when you're living out of your van, it don't take a lot to survive or to live. If you're hungry, there's soup kitchens and places like that all over this country that give out food. Anyone that starves, that lives in the United States, it's because you cause yourself to starve, because you're not willing to go find it, or you might be too picky to eat what they have. But I tell you what, the United States is probably one of the most generous places that I've ever found. I mean, you could walk up pretty much anyone on the street and say, "Hey, I'm hungry. Can you possibly help me?" And I bet at least 60% of the people will bend over backwards to help you, or at least give you a couple dollars to find something. If not, take you out or go to McDonald's or something and buy you something to eat. I mean, how do you think these homeless people survive out here? Think about it. They sit around and they hold a sign, and you'd be surprised how much they actually make doing it. I've dealt with the homeless my entire life. I've learned to, well, for the last 17 years anyway, in my ministry, and I've learned more from them guys than you could possibly ever shake a stick at. I mean, yeah, some of them might not be totally ethical, but hey, it works, and whatever works, I guess works. But I mean, I had a bunch of them that we had a Sam's Club, and every day they would go into Sam's Club, and they would walk around Sam's Club doing nothing. They would literally eat their lunch off the samplings that that Sam's Club would give at all the little stations throughout the grocery part. And they would have like little samples of whatever they were selling. And these boys would eat 4 or 5, go around each one of them, come back and do another round or whatever. By the time you know it, they're already filled up with just samples. Another one, they would buy a Coke once a week at McDonald's and use the plastic cup and go in there all day long, every day, and fill that glass up. It says refills, free refills. It doesn't say about when that day starts or when the next day starts. Believe it or not, most of them don't even mind because they know. Same as the morning coffee. The guys will take their cup of coffee and they'll clean their cup out and store it in their bicycle for that night and go back in the next morning and do it. I always wondered, how in the world do they stay cool in the summertime? They hop off, they go by the motels, at night or even in the late afternoon. And they'll just walk into the pool and sit down and they'll go swimming for a couple hours. No one bothers them. As long as you behave yourself and you're not rowdy and you don't cause trouble and you keep yourself cleaned up and you keep yourself trimmed up nice to where you look like a halfway decent person, people are not really too much to bother with you. I mean, and for the way they got ice was the same way. They'd just walk up to the hotel and get them a thing full of ice and dump it in their little cooler. But the one thing is, they didn't walk up with like a 151 quart cooler and try to fill it up with ice. That's what upsets these people. But to take a couple 32-ounce cups and put it into one little small package, and fill that up with ice, to have their ice for the day, it's no big deal. Most convenience stores will even allow you to do that. So, I mean, you can go into 7-Eleven or any of these convenience stores, and 99% of the time you ask for a cup of ice, they'll let you grab a cup of ice. And it'd take you no time at all to get your ice. But like I said, you don't have to store ice for a whole week. There's no reason to have a cooler in your van. There's not. If it's more than 1 square foot, there's really no reason for you to have that in your van. Anything that you would normally keep in your refrigerator, like condiments, you can go to any fast food restaurant, any place like Publix, grocery stores that sell sandwiches and stuff like that, and you can find these little condiment packages of anything that you possibly want as a condiment. They have it in these little packets somewhere. If it's not the Chinese restaurant, the Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, all of them have these little packets of different things that you could possibly have. And I keep one bag, a Walmart bag, full of these kind of condiments. And every time I go into one to eat lunch, I'll grab a handful of each one of them and I'll toss it into my bag. And then when I go out, I'll put it back into my little thing. I never have any problems with condiments, so I never have to keep it cool. It's always there. I've got mayo in there. I've got mustard. I've got salad dressings. You name it, I've got it. Once it's in those Mylar bags and it's sealed up, it can stand the heat. It's fine until you use it. Trust me. Never had a problem with any of it. I mean, every now and then you'll open up a pack of ketchup that's been in there for a year. Yeah. It might not look or smell too good, so you toss it out and you get another one. No big deal. But what else do you keep? You can go into Publix or any of these grocery stores that actually have a meat counter and walk up to that counter and ask for individually sliced steak or a hamburger or whatever. You can order a 1/4 pound of hamburger. You can have them package that up just for you. You can find a steak that you like that's out there. Maybe it has 5 different steaks in there and you can only eat 2 of them for the day. So you take that package and you walk up and say, hey, could you repackage this? I just need these 2 steaks out of there. And they'll be more than happy to repackage it for you. Walmart, no, they don't do that. You know, they don't have a meat market. You go into somewhere that has an actual meat counter and they'll do that for you. You can get seafood the same way. You can do all this stuff on a daily basis. Besides, what else do you have to do with your day? Most of you are sitting around the trees. And when you do it, don't rush so much. Take time to stop and smell the roses in life. Look things over. Take your time shopping, enjoying the air conditioning while you're in there. Choosing your foods. If it's chips or bread or whatever, well, you know, if you know how to make bread, make your bread every day. It's cheaper to store 5 pounds of sugar and 5 pounds of flour and water and things like that. You can make your own bread with. I do all the time. I make my own tortillas. I make my own pastas. I make all this stuff all by scratch. The only thing that's hard to do is eggs. But I buy my eggs by 6 at a time. I buy a half a dozen, which is only like 10 cents more than a full dozen, you know what I mean, in comparison. So, I mean, it's like 10 cents more if you bought 2 of those 6-packs than you would as a dozen. So it's not that much more. And you can eat your 2 eggs in the morning for breakfast and maybe an egg or so or maybe a couple eggs to make your bread for the day or whatever you want to do. And it's okay to leave them set overnight. And that way you don't have to refrigerate those. And by the way, you still got your little cooler full of ice. Toss them in there at night, you know, so they stay a little cooler if you want. It's all right, because remember, you get your ice every day anyway. Living in a van is not really hard at all. I mean, it's just, you know, it's being just as creative as you do your own jobs. But the thing is being creative. So get out there and find your hustle, find your way of making life happen. Be creative. Find a way to promote yourself, to market yourself. And I think anybody can do that. If you're willing to work hard and do a good job for a good price and be reasonable, and you can do a lot to help people out. You can cut grass, you know. I've picked up work at Home Depot. I just go in, walk around Home Depot in the hardware section or in the fan light section. I'm an electrician and an air conditioning contractor and a handyman, so that's what I do out of life. That's what I've always done. So, I mean, if I see a lady walking around looking at it and picking out a bunch of fans, I'll ask her, I say, hey, you going to put them up or you need some help putting them up? I do them real cheap. You know what I mean? I do them for $45 a piece. Assemble them, hanging them up and everything for you. Yeah, you'll snatch it up in a heartbeat, man, if you do a good job. These people are sure, man, you know, because they're like threatening. They're like, oh my goodness. Even some of the men of the house don't even want to do it. So if you're good at doing that, do that. If you see someone buying shelves, you know, some little trinket to maybe make a shelf, invite to go over and help them do that right out of your van. Carry your battery-operated tools with you. You know, they help people want to do some remodeling in their own vans, maybe even out of the van community. You can go and offer your help with them. Just offer it with maybe a donation, and they'll help you out. You know, they'll throw a few dollars your way. There's a lot of different ways out here to promote yourself and to make something. You just have to be creative how to do it. So don't be afraid to reach out and to touch the world. But the biggest thing is you got to have the mindset is I can and not I can't. So if not, go to school, learn a trade, learn something, learn how to become a productive citizen of this world. And if you can, then you'll survive. Be a survivor. That's the best advice I think I can give you, is learn to be a survivor and do it. Have a great day.